What it is, good people, it is the Wolf, the W to the O to the L to the F. E, it's me, the Wolf. Some call me Wolf, Wolf, Mr. Bad, Big Bad, whatever else, otherwise known as the Man in Black. Welcome to Badwolf Unrestricted. Now, in this particular video, we're going to be talking about something that most people don't know. All right. Well, actually, almost all my videos, I guarantee you, most people don't know. I apologize for the shine. I did just shave my head. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Dun, dun. All right. So I have had many names. Oh, sorry, wrong lifetime. I've had many jobs, a couple of careers. I've owned businesses. I've ran businesses and operations and things for a lot of different people. That's all I'm going to say about some of it. All right, some good, some bad, some ugly. But per this video, and now especially, and it's been over for years, I'm no longer under certain confidentiality agreements, so I can share a lot of things. Now, one of the things I want you guys to know, a lot of people don't know that I was also a manager for we'll just say a pizza place. I won't mention the name; it's not really that relevant. Plus, I don't need them trying to bother me trying to get you sued. Once again, the confidentiality agreements are over, so I'm not overly worried about it. But I always try to keep people's information confidential. But what I'm about to tell you is in application, basically along almost all of them. Let's get into it. So I don't know what I'm going to title this video, but whatever it is, it probably gives you an indication of where I'm going, which is what is the retail cost or the real cost of most things. Now, when I was a manager for this particular pizza place, I worked my way up. I kind of forced my way into becoming a manager at other stores by showing them my leadership, my dedication, my good work ethic. And I slowly became a manager. Now, when I became a manager, that is when the company essentially allows you to see all of their goods, their bads, and their uglies. And it can be ugly. There's a whole different level of overstanding when you're in the manager position. And if I had to be honest, I don't know which position I liked better, being the manager or being like the low level employee. Low level employee, you punch in, you punch out, you do your dumb ting, do that dumb ting, and that's it. You get out. When you're the manager, you have to know all the things. You have to babysit, and sure, you get to call the shots. And everybody's like, "Oh, I wish I was a manager." All the hell you're seeing is a percentage. And sure, you may have a crappy manager or whatever else, but there's still a lot of responsibility on that manager, like the store numbers, the inventory coming in, going out. Unless you have a good assistant manager who you can put in that position and then you make them do all of it, then your management position is pretty easy, but you are still responsible for all the stuff. It ain't like on the bottom where you're just responsible for like showing up. The manager, if you don't show up, has to find somebody else, get them there, con them into that position or event. And if the numbers at the end of the month or at the end of the year or a quarter or whatever else don't look right, your job is in jeopardy because they're like, you're not doing something right. So that's one of the reasons why managers are always extra hard on you because it's their butt. All right. Some have earned their position and are good managers, and some have not earned their position and are craptastic. Yeah, that's my word. I made it up. Actually, I think it's been around for a while, but anyway, craptastic. So when I first got my hands on, and there's a lot of other little stories I'm leaving out, so you don't really need to. I'll tell you those some of those in other videos. So much. So when I finally got to see the books, I was blown away when I discovered that in their paperwork, and I was always the kind of person who would read all of the fine print, read all of the end user license agreement, the EULA, I would read all of the manuals, documents, all that stuff. I had to know it all in order to work properly. I didn't like to be in the dark on anything. Even as a low level um, individual, I still would get my hands on those things, and it actually helped me to elevate into higher positions where I knew the managers and general managers and owners and whatever else because they were fascinated that I wanted to know and I knew all those things better than some of their own engineers and managers. I solved a lot of problems for people's companies over the years. Did not at all or damn near ever really get paid what I should have been paid but I did have leeway with them. And sometimes it's almost better. Okay, got a little fuzzy there. Get off me. Okay. So, as I'm looking through, and I'm not going to say the names, but there was companies, this pizza company had was owned by a larger company. Okay, that's one of the things most of you guys don't know is a lot of these companies have been bought and are owned by bigger companies. Now, in another video, I'll talk about this, but there's a thing called super corps, where there's mega big corporations where corporations that are so big they buy other corporations that are already big. Like, do you guys really think Pepsi and Coca-Cola aren't are enemies? Hmm. You might want to see who really owns them on the top of the pyramid, educationally speaking, of course. So with this company in their paperwork, and this was years ago. I mean, this is probably like 20 years ago. You guys have actually seen the companies and have probably eaten at one or two of them. When they were like, yeah, we're going to within like 10 years, we're going to merge, we're going to buy into this company, and we're going to start to have store locations to save money where one half the store is this and the other half of the store is that. And they're both owned by the same main super company. So much like the GOV and whatever else, these people are playing chess years in advance. So what you're seeing right now, all these little shenanigans and gimmicks and live action role play and all these little things. Most of these events have been staged, figured out, contemplated, sealed, signed, and delivered and ready for launch 8 years ago, 10 years ago, sometimes longer, depending. So I was blown away by that. And I was telling everybody privately that that's what was going to happen. And everybody, no, it's not. They're enemies. They're rivals. I'm like, Mom, I've seen the paperwork. So the next part, as I'm reading through some of their secret documents, Frau Harbissina, negates his Ihnen. No, how are things? Fine. Okay. And they weren't fine because I'm looking at the cost of, we'll just say when you guys buy like breadsticks or whatever else, okay? They were priced at, now what do you guys usually pay? I don't even know. I haven't bought any of that stuff in years because I used to always get it free when I used to work there. But what are they like? $2, $3, $4 now, probably for a bag of breadsticks or whatever else, right? And then you can get your little basket of wings and whatever else. Well, do you guys know that those fully made, seasoned, buttered, Parmesan, because I used to do all that stuff, was 7 cents. 7 cents is what it really cost the company to produce those breadsticks. Do you know that a fully loaded pizza, thin crust, 12 cents? 12 cents. So any companies out there, like, and I've worked actually for a number of them. All right. Well, I worked for like what, two? Two of them. But any of those companies out there what you're paying, that's one of the reasons why they can charge as low as seven or a five, I think they're what, $5, six, five, $6 or $7 and still make a hella profit because it costs them 12 cents, man. But the reason why they have to mark it up is because of the building, the overhead, the people not showing up, the machines breaking, all the other stuff. So they have to charge a price that is going to be conducive to be able to maintain the location. It's not the pizza itself, that's cheap. But did you also know on the same lines, a fully loaded thick crust, all toppings, well, all general normal toppings, 25 cents. I could not believe when I looked at this paperwork, and of course I had signed the non-disclosure confidentiality agreement or the NDA. I was like, I'm not seeing that right. It's got to say 250. I can see 250. That even that's kind of low, but nope. I even asked the other manager when he was getting ready to go off to the war, and he was putting me in the position. So he taught me how to do all of his, work. And he's like, "Yeah, that's what it really costs." And depending on the company, it can be a little bit more than that or a little bit less if they contract another company to do it. Or in some cases, one of the companies I worked for, they would have you actually take the materials for the dough, make them at the location in a machine in the back, and put them in their freezer or fridge, let them, rise, and then you put them through the machine and make them, thin and all that stuff. So it can be a little bit more, a little less than that. So that's when I started looking at like other products out in the world and realized that after working with a company that makes their own stuff, what the real cost. So everything you've ever bought, unless it was like at maybe at Goodwill, even at Goodwill, it's still marked up. Goodwill ain't taking no loss on anything you buy there, but you can definitely find some really good deals there if you know what you're looking for. All right. Um, for instance, if you go and buy a lot of old, like let's say TV cable boxes, um, like the AT&T or Direct TV types and whatever else. It usually costs you like $4, 3.99, 4.95, something like that, right? You open up those bad boys, and usually there's a 1 terabyte on average hard drive in there that is worth a lot of money and can fit in most standard computers. Or you connect it with a USB, okay, to your regular computer or laptop as an external drive. So every product you buy, there is a real hardcore manufacturer's price for it. And then they usually have a manufacturer's suggested retail price, meaning you should sell it. So even your cars, same thing, but they're not 12 cents, of course. I never seen the true cost for a car, but based on that, I'd have to say it's probably like $5,000 for a general car with its parts because a lot of that stuff they get wholesale or they source themselves or whatever else it is. So everything that you're buying is generally you're buying it at full retail price, not even just retail, what it should be. This is the industry average. And when they come up with these averages, you know what they do? They have think tanks of people out there in the world that they say, hey, look at this product. What do you think this product costs? What would you pay for this product? And most people have no idea what the cost of it really is. So they give you a figure. They then take all of those figures, add them up. So if there's 10 different prices that people gave them, they they take those 10 add them up, and then divide by the number and come up with an average. And that is how most of them have a come up with their retail price. But if the company then doesn't like it, the board will say, well, why are our profits low? But why are the board members money hungry? Because generally they have investors, and some of them have investments within the company themselves that they have to answer to. And those investors are like, hey, we gave you guys a lot of money. Where are the profits? How come we're not making a profit? So the masses out there are like zombies when they invest in these things, or unless it's one main company or a person or whatever else. And they're like, I want my money back plus the 10 or 15%, 12% being average. So then the company's like, well, what do we need to do to make this? We need 12% quarterly. So then they have their think tank go, how can we make the product cheaper and then raise the price a little bit? Now I'm going to put a couple of companies on blast because I use these personally, so I'm speaking from that. So these are facts. These ain't allegations. Companies like I used to love like Little Debbie and their oatmeal cream pies. They don't taste the same, man. Y'all done cheated the formula, cheapened the stuff, put some Maui Wowie crap in there, made it look like the same thing, but you're getting less of the actual old school product. You used to have a strong molasses taste when you would eat them bastards, and they would gush everywhere. Now they're drier than my grandma's socks, and she's been dead for 20 years. I buy oatmeal, and I have I store a lot of food, right? So I go in there, buy the same brand. I put it next to the brand that's been in there for probably about a year. I have no idea how long you're supposed to keep oatmeal, but it's sealed, so whatever. Unless you get those little damn black bugs that get in there and then they eat through the package, which I didn't know that they could do, and then you have to throw them all out, which is what happened to me. Because sometimes when you buy, there's little bugs or eggs on the bottom of the boxes because they're out and God knows whatever else, and they're horrible to get rid of. That's all I can say. Anyway, like I said, we keep it real here. I ain't gonna lie. So I'm looking at the package and it says 10 oatmeal individually wrapped serving packages. I look at the new one and it says 8, but the new one costs more than what I paid for the old one. So not only did they go up in price, and you know what? I didn't even check to see if the content weight was the same because that's how they get you guys as well. So I'm gonna do a whole video on that. So I'm gonna digress from that right now because I can talk about that for hours. I'm gonna teach you guys how to shop too and what to look out for. Some of y'all don't know. Some of y'all wasting and spend a lot of your money and getting ripped the off and wonder why that you ain't got no money because they're hustling you. You're getting played, player. You're getting pimped, pimp. So every place where you go and buy products, especially food, it has all been marked up. So when a company goes bankrupt or whatever else, it's because they have too much overhead. They're spending way too much money on other things. They made too many big promises to investors. The board members are taking too much money. So then they try to pay you guys less or put you on some kind of salary bull, BS, whatever, commission. I've done all those jobs. So when a something like that, or like a bank, like when how we the people helped out the banks, we bailed out the banks. The banks aren't supposed to go under, but they were if it wasn't for the American people giving them money. Which, by the way, where do we get our money back? Government, reserve, treasury. When do we bailed out the banks? How do we are the banks paying you guys back our money plus interest? Because that's how banks work. Make it make sense. So The markups can be in the hundreds or thousands. Now, you're probably saying, well, yeah, okay, but yeah, I still want my pizza. So yeah, go ahead and pay for the pizza. I'm not saying not to, especially if it's good quality and you enjoy it. Yeah. But what I will say is that nowadays you can go online and get their recipe, buy all the things, the ingredients, and whatever else, and make your own for a hell of a lot cheaper. But at the same time, if they got the good sauce and it's already put together, then what are you paying for really? That experience and the convenience. I'm a damn good cook. Okay. I've worked for places. I've been taught by some pretty decent people over the years, some professional chefs. But even I go, yeah, you know what? I want it made and I want that taste. But that's why I then get mad when I order something and it doesn't taste like it used to taste. Like, man, it's only been a couple of weeks or a month or a year or hell, 2 years. And but now suddenly the chemical makeup, the ingredients are not the same. So yeah, I will make some more videos where I talk about some more products and the BS that they do. If you guys have experienced something like that, put it down in the comments. I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoyed this little segment. Wolf's out. We got more things to hunt, my wolf pack. Let's go get them. I'll talk to you guys.